What's up, my beautiful bros? Maine-iac here with Week 14 NFL Power Rankings, and as you know, last week was at least American Thanksgiving. For some reason, like half my viewership is in the Philippines. So if that's you, I don't know if you celebrate, but hope you had a good week. Anyway, I took the week off from NFL Power Rankings, and I did do my game picks on Twitter. So I had to go over 2 weeks of like game tape and research or whatever to compile an updated power rankings, I should say. And there were some major changes, mainly because there was 2 weeks in between. And I won't take too long in this video. I'm just explaining that if you want a more detailed explanation, at least, of why a team is ranked where it is, just put a comment down below now with what team or whatever, and I will respond to the best of my abilities. Will you agree with me? Probably not, because, again, I'm an idiot. At number 32, we have the Cincinnati Bengals. Not much else to say than they're the Bengals. And they're starting Andy Dalton, so maybe they'll win more than one game. Who knows? I didn't think they'd honestly win one game, but they pulled it off. And I picked the Jets, so this sucks. Then you have the Giants at number 31. Rumors that Eli Manning's going to be starting. Daniel Jones is in a ankle boot kind of thing for an ankle sprain. So this is very interesting because I don't know how many reps I should say Eli Manning has with Darius Slayton. So going forward, it will be interesting to see how involved he is. And then you have Miami going down at one spot as well to number 30. They have been resurgent lately. Brian Flores has been coaching how he has. Now, there's rumors going around that he's going to be a Coach of the Year candidate, which is absolute bullshit. In no league ever do you go 3-9 and get consideration for Coach of the Year. Ever. I don't care the circumstances. I don't care whatever. No. People just want to vote him because, oh, the Dolphins were tanking. But look at the Dolphins roster. Although it's not the greatest, they're very capable. It's just about putting it together. And Fitzpatrick's obviously one of those players that can either play amazing or play terrible. And then you have Washington Redskins at number 29, reeling off some wins lately. I've been very impressed with how they've been playing. Haskins has been playing the greatest, but his pass catchers have been dropping it as well. But still, Washington has improved, and it's nice to see. Then you get the Jets at number 28. Not much else to say there. They lost to the Bengals. Then you get the Cardinals at number 27, dropping 2 spots. Atlanta and Detroit 26 and 25 respectively, with Atlanta being 26, Detroit being 25, dropping 2 spots as well. These 3 teams here, just not a lot of success lately, so I had to drop them. I was kind of excited, honestly, in the last couple weeks to see Atlanta face New Orleans again, seeing if they could upset. Sadly, they did not. And then you got the Jacksonville Jaguars gaining 2 spots. Although they haven't been playing much better, Nick Foles is kind of playing really bad. Kind of bad. Minimally bad. Not good, I should say. The Jaguars need to figure it out if they're going to, well, not so much this season. They need to figure out what their plan is for next year, because that roster looks like it has some big holes. And you got Denver at number 23 gaining 4 spots. Defense has stepped up. Lindsey and Freeman have stepped up. I like Denver. And Cortland Sutton, much better receiver than I gave him credit for, I will admit that. Then you got Carolina dropping 4 spots. This is partially due to Ron Rivera being fired after going 5-7, after his star quarterback gets hurt, and he has to deal with Kyle Allen. Makes no sense to me. Will Ron Rivera, or Riverboat Ron as people call him, be headed to New York to coach the Giants at the end of the year? Will he be headed somewhere else? Like maybe Washington? Maybe Cincinnati. Who knows? I don't think he'll be jobless come next year. And you got Philly dropping 8 spots to 21. That's why they're here. Very interesting team with some very, very bad losses. Then you got the Chargers at number 20 dropping 1 spot. Tampa Bay at 19 gaining 3 with a more reliable play from Jameis Winston. Cleveland at number 18 gaining 2 spots, although they did have a rough stretch. I think it's more so Carolina and Philly just blowing it that bumped up Cleveland. And you got Oakland at number 17, which kind of hurt me a little bit because I believe I had Oakland 2 weeks ago at number 12, and they were on a roll. Had a tough matchup against Kansas City, got beat down. Had another couple matchups, but they're currently 6-6. So I think middle of the pack is pretty good for them. And you got Chicago at number 16, gaining 5 spots. The offense has looked more improved. Trubisky has looked a little better, but more importantly, I like how Montgomery has been looking lately. If they can get him going, they still have a chance at that wild card. Very slim, but still a chance. Then you got Indy at number 15, gaining 1 spot, and Dallas at number 14, dropping 4 spots. Both of these teams are similar. Lately, I should say, quarterback making a little bit of mistakes, except for with Indy. The reason why they're below Dallas is the injury to Marlon Mack, obviously. Although the defense of Indy looks threatening, and honestly, it is a little threatening. Without Marlon Mack, I don't think this team isn't top tier, I should say. And Dallas just falling down a little bit lately, falling to 6-6. That game against New England, and then the tough game after that. I couldn't not move them down. You got Tennessee at number 13, gaining 4 spots with some good outings. Good outings indeed. I'll be honest here. I don't know what to expect from Tennessee. Ryan Tannehill looks really, really good. The wide receivers are kind of up and down besides Brown. But 13, I think, is a good spot for Tennessee. You got Pittsburgh gaining 3 spots. Call me a fan of Duck Hodges, I guess. Honestly, I'm gonna break it down. Get real with you guys. I sound like a total loser saying that, but my sister's a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. So being as I'm a New England Patriots fan, I've grown a little bit of a respect for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, not the Steelers fan base, because they're all a bunch of whiny-ass cunts. Little bitches. Well, not all of them. A majority of them are whiny-ass cunt bitches who like to pretend their team never does anything wrong, but will call out any other team for anything for 20 years. Get over it. Anyway, Pittsburgh, I like Duck Hodges. I like what he's been doing. But another aspect to this Pittsburgh team that I think is making them a little bit better is I honestly like what Benny Snell has been doing at running back. He's not great, but he gets the job done as much as they need him to. James Washington has been stepping up as well, and the defense looks pretty good. Sure, the last 2 games have came against Cleveland and Cincy, but, you know, Pittsburgh's in the playoffs for a reason right now. Then you get the Rams at number 11. I don't know what the fuck they are right now. Minnesota at number 10, coming off a tough loss to Seattle. Kansas City at number 9. This is more so the teams in front of them, not so much what Kansas City did. Kansas City is still a really good team facing New England this week. It's going to be a really test. If they beat New England, Kansas City's probably going to move up. And New England might drop out of the top 8 because I'm about sick of their shit. And then you have Buffalo at number 8 currently, gaining 6 spots because they've had a really good week where they've stepped up and they look like what they're meant to look like. Beasley contributing, Brown contributing, Singletary contributing, Gore contributing, all these offensive weapons putting it together at the same time makes this team extremely dangerous. And honestly, I don't think they're dead in the AFC East front, and it makes me nervous because where the Patriots are currently 10-2, and I believe the Bills are 9-3. If New England loses to Kansas City and Buffalo somehow beats Baltimore, it's gonna make that Buffalo-New England game huge. And you got Houston at number 7 after beating New England. There's still some questions on the offense that I have, mainly with how involved is Fells going to be going forward at tight end. That's not even an issue, to be honest. That offensive line has some injuries. Very good team. That defense looks spotty, but the pass rush is picking up, which I like. We'll see if this team can hold on to the division lead. I believe it's a 1-game lead over Tennessee at this point. So it'll be interesting to see who wins that division. Then you got Green Bay and New Orleans at 6 and 5 respectively. They've handled their business the last couple of weeks. Not much else to say. And you got New England at number 4, dropping 3 spots. Obviously, lost to Houston hurts. Offense doesn't look nearly as solid. One thing I will say, being a Patriots fan and watching them as much as I have, and watching them play as much as I have and how they play, the rookies or the receivers, even at tight end, running back, or whatever, are fucking up so bad. I have seen over a dozen instances in the last few weeks where the rookie wide receivers are running the completely wrong route, dropping balls, letting balls go, giving up on routes. Just all these mistakes. And yes, Brady's numbers are inexcusable. They look absolutely horrendous. But when you factor in how often wide receivers are giving up on routes when he throws to them, because there'll be probably about 4 or 5 throws a game at this rate, or more, honestly, where he throws deep to a receiver and they don't expect the ball, so they're just like jogging upfield and it just flies over their head. Or they don't reach out fully to catch a ball and they're just kind of like, kind of thing. So, although this offense infuriates me because nobody seems to be doing their job properly, and McDaniels can't call a fucking game to save his life right now, this defense is still incredible. They did a decent job against Houston. They stepped up later in the game, just like in Baltimore. And it's games like this against, I think, Deshaun Watson, Lamar Jackson, and Patrick Mahomes coming up that's going to benefit them the most coming into the playoffs. I still think they're one of the best defensive units in the game. It'll be interesting to see how that handles. And the top 3 are in order. Seattle at number 3 with a good win over Minnesota. And yes, I do rank them below San Fran, mainly because how San Fran performed against the new number 1 team. And yes, you heard me right. San Fran at number 2, gaining 2 spots. Almost beat Baltimore. Came off a last-second field goal. Very solid team. Offensively, defensively, they didn't let the injuries get to them. And I'm not on that boat quite yet, where I think it's going to be a showdown of Baltimore versus San Fran in the Super Bowl guaranteed. I'm definitely not in that group of people right now. I'm in the group of people that say, hey, I still think Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs might sneak in. Deshaun Watson and the Texans might sneak in. Hell, New Orleans might even represent the NFC at this rate. Who knows? And then you got Baltimore at number 1. Obviously, Lamar Jackson. End of argument. Hope you guys have a good day. Peace.